Good morning and welcome to today's daily word of encouragement. You know, with the days leading up to Valentine's Day, there's all this talk about love and the commercialization of love and gifts. So I thought it was only appropriate today to talk about love. You see, I want to talk specifically to those of you who have experienced your loyalty, your commitments, your love to be taken advantage of. Those of you who feel like you've come up short in life, that you've given your all, you've been zealous and passionate, and there have been people who in your life have taken advantage of that commitment, that loyalty, that passion. You see, I'm not just talking about romantic love. No. I'm talking about any kind of love. It could be a love for your job. It could be a love for your education. It could be a love that you have for a friend or a family member. But you've experienced love that has not been reciprocated. You see, it's hard for us to separate love from authority. We read in 1 John chapter 4 that God is love. Everything from verse 7 on to verse 21, it talks about God is love. So how can you separate love from authority when God is the ultimate authority and He is love? So it could be that perhaps you've experienced taken advantage of from a position of authority. Maybe you were a child and your innocence was taken by somebody older than you. Maybe you poured everything you did into work and you didn't get that promotion. Maybe you loved someone who you found out was just taking advantage and using you. They took advantage of your love and commitment, but they didn't reciprocate it back. And when that happens, what it does is it leaves us as an empty shell, and we put up walls and defenses, and we're afraid to love again, or to have hope again, or to pour our passion into something again, because we don't want that to happen once more in our life. So we become this empty shell of a person, and we find ourselves surviving but not thriving. We find ourselves just going through the motions, but we're not experiencing abundant life. I'm reminded, as I even speak now, about Ezekiel chapter 37 in the valley of dry bones. You can go ahead and turn there, or you can read it at another time, or maybe I'm just reminding you of a story that you're very familiar with. But you see, it said that these bones had been dry for a long time. They had been exposed. They were very dry. They had been exposed to the elements. I can even picture them being scattered. You know, when God gives Ezekiel authority, right? Because with God as love, there comes authority. So he tells Ezekiel to prophesy to these dry bones. And I can picture as he began to prophesy, the bones that had been scattered start coming together. The skull is over here, and the spine is over here, and they come flying together. What a sight it must have been. But it wasn't until Ezekiel actually prophesied life into them that they were just standing. We don't know that they were standing, but they were just lifeless. I want to read specifically in Ezekiel 37, verse 5. It said, "This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you and make flesh come upon you and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord." You see, when God breathes into us, it's the word pneuma. It's the word for the Holy Spirit. When God breathes His love into us, it's the empowerment of His Holy Spirit that we come to life. So those of you who can relate to these dry bones walking around lifeless, I want to tell you that there is an audacious love, a love that does not disappoint, a love that it has the audacity to seek you out wherever you're at. It doesn't matter if you're on death row, if you're in the immigration detainment center. It doesn't matter if you're in the church house, in your house, or the White House. This love is so audacious that it knows no barriers. It belongs to a kingdom that has no borders. This love has a name, and His name is Jesus. And He wants to enter into you once again to fill the empty places that the disappointments of life have made bare inside of you. You see, this audacious love knows what you've been through. He knows what you've done, and yet he knocks, and he's asking, will you open? Will you open to this audacious love that fills the places that have been left void by the damages and experiences that you have had in life? Where the enemy has come in and stolen all of these things from you, this love is so audacious that he wants to fill those empty voids. And so I ask you today, if you hear him knocking, will you open up? Perhaps you've opened yourself up to Christ before and you have accepted him in, but the experiences of life have left you either empty or perhaps even self-righteous, that you've lost your first love. The way to do a temperature check to find out if you've lost hold of this love, this infilling, that you need a refreshing, is if you're operating in that love. Do you have audacious love for the misfits? For the people who don't vote like you, or look like you, or make money like you, or live in a neighborhood like you? Do you have a love that has the audacity to look past the borders and look past the experiences of someone and say, I love you anyways? I want to encourage you that as you hear the knocking, that you open up and you allow this love to fill you once again. This love is not nameless. No, he has a name, and his name is Jesus. I want to read quickly out of Psalm chapter 24, verse 7. When you hear the knocking, when the Lord is stirring and saying, let me in once again. Verse 7, it says, lift up your heads, O you gates. Be lifted up, you ancient doors. Open up, that the King of glory may enter in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord, he's strong and mighty. The Lord who's mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O ye gates. Lift them up, you ancient doors, that the King of glory may come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord Almighty, he is the King of glory. You see, as Ezekiel, he decided to use the authority that God had given him, and he began to prophesy that these bones would live. We read in Ezekiel 37:14, it says, I will put my spirit in you, and you will live, and I will settle you in your own land. Then you will know that I, the Lord, have spoken, and I have done it, declares the Lord. So when you hear him knocking, invite him in. Invite love to fill every brokenness, every empty place, that you may live like Ezekiel and this army of bones. Oh, folks, I wish I had more time to unpack this, but I've got to tell you, in my spirit, I hear a sound. I hear a sound of an army that is empowered with love to change the territory and the regions around them is beginning to rise. So I encourage you today, and I challenge you to have the courage and the boldness to open your mouth and say, King of glory, refill me once again. Empower me by your Spirit. And if you've never experienced this love, today is your day. All you have to do is say, Jesus, I open up myself to you. Come in and fill me with this love, this audacious love. And as you receive the infilling of his Holy Spirit, you are going to be empowered with boldness and confidence that you've never experienced before. And as for those people in your life, those who have taken advantage of their authority in your life, who have taken advantage of your love, those of you who have taken advantage, we release you. We forgive you. Now we release you into the hands of God. And now we have our hands and our hearts open wide to receive the fullness of what God has. I encourage you, open yourself up once again and allow an infilling and an empowerment of love come inside of you that you have never experienced before, or maybe it's just been a long time. Be filled today with His audacious love. God bless.